What's going on, everybody? It's me again, Gold and Blue Dude, and if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. If you have the college football sickness like myself, I'm here to give you the fix, because that's all we do every single day. So go ahead, hit the like and subscribe button if you want your daily fix of college football and some college basketball. Check out our Patreon page. A lot of time and resources going into that as well. Also, go check out the great website that Joey designed. We have 8 great writers right now, but we're always looking for more. And yes, the merchandise store. Go check out the merchandise store. A lot of great stuff over there. And you can support Golden Blue through PayPal. Right now, every single donation goes towards getting me a P.O. box so that you can send a mini helmet of your team to me so I can display it in the background forever. Now to the video at hand. Shout out to the Outlaw of college football. If you haven't checked him out, go check him out. I will leave a link to his channel in the description of this video because that's where I got the idea of this video from. Great stuff. And I did some digging and he's correct. There are some people talking about this and it kind of surprised me. So we all found out that Oklahoma and Texas are headed to the SEC back in the fall of 2021, right? Started building up steam. SEC fans starting to talk trash. Oh, they were the cream of the crop in the Big 12, but once you get to the SEC, you'll be lucky if you're in the middle of the pack. Oklahoma had a down year last year, and Texas had a bad year last year. Could they be rethinking their move to the SEC? Well, according to some people, yeah, they are rethinking it. Specifically Texas. Texas is the one that's really thinking about backing out of this deal. And honestly, and this is just my opinion, I think Texas likes that power that they have in the Big 12. I think that they thought that they would have that power in the SEC, but they're starting to realize that they wouldn't. They're starting to rethink, well, man, pretty much whatever we wanted, we got in the Big 12. That's not going to happen in the SEC. Let's stay where we get patted on the back and everybody does pretty much whatever we want. I mean, that would make the most sense as far as Texas going back to the Big 12 and Oklahoma going. I mean, Oklahoma is a big brand, don't get me wrong. One of the biggest in the Big 12. But Texas is the one that pulls all the strings in the Big 12. So the biggest questions are, what happens if that were to happen? So there's a couple scenarios. Let's say Texas backs out, but Oklahoma goes. So Texas goes back to the Big 12, and I'm hearing that they want Nebraska to come with them from the Big 10, and that they're willing to throw money towards Nebraska to get them back to make up for that gap that they're going to lose from the Big 10. Honestly, I think that would be a great move for Nebraska. I know they're making a lot of money over at the Big 10, but they belong in the Big 12. They're not having success over there at the Big 10. They haven't fit in all that well. They would fit right into the Big 12. I think they'd be able to recruit better. I think they'd have more success in the Big 12. So I think that's a great idea for Nebraska. But what about Oklahoma? They're still going to the SEC. Who would go with Oklahoma to the SEC? Well, I've heard that the SEC would be interested in Kansas because of their strong basketball program. The SEC is trying to get their basketball product a little more better. They want their basketball product to be appealing to the audience. Kansas would do that for you. And talk about extending your footprint. You'd be going on another state. You already have Missouri. You'd be extending over to Kansas. Doesn't really help the SEC in football, but it would definitely help their basketball tremendously. But there are some other options in the ACC, and it is a fact. Whether it happens because Texas backs out or Texas and Oklahoma backs out, or they both come and it's in the future, the SEC is interested in teams in the ACC. That is a fact. They are interested in North Carolina teams, specifically North Carolina and NC State. And they're interested in Virginia teams, Virginia and Virginia Tech. So if Texas backs out, that could give the SEC an opportunity to pursue one of the teams that they already want from North Carolina or Virginia. And if Texas and Oklahoma back out, then they could go after 2 teams. They could go after a North Carolina and Virginia Tech, or a Virginia Tech, or a Virginia North Carolina, or a Virginia NC State, or a Virginia Tech NC State. You get the picture. A combination of any of those 4 teams. Maybe it would be making something that was already going to happen in the future happen now. And this is why I'm saying the ACC expanding needs to happen. Because if they don't expand their product, the SEC is going to come a-calling and pick some teams off of the ACC. It's going to happen. And I know a lot of people thinking, oh, West Virginia ACC, that'll never happen. That doesn't benefit the ACC. Yes, it does. They're trying to fend off the SEC because it's coming one day, guys. I am telling you, it is coming one day. So if the ACC doesn't strengthen their brand, they're going to get picked apart. And West Virginia would definitely help the ACC. They would bring eyeballs to all the rivalries that West Virginia has in the ACC. Virginia Tech, Syracuse, Boston College, Pitt, Louisville, all those rivalries, even the Hurricanes of Miami. So it doesn't matter whether you believe me or not. The fact is, if the ACC doesn't do something, the SEC is going to pick you apart. And wouldn't it be better for the ACC to do something now than to wait until the backs are against the wall and you have to go into a bidding war with the SEC, which you'll lose? So this Texas-Oklahoma thing might be the beginning of much bigger picture that could happen in the future. Another suggestion that I heard that's picking up some steam is the Big 12 Pac-12 merger. I actually like that. The Pac-12 needs something to rejuvenate them. And I've heard a lot of Pac-12 fans, well, the glue that sticks the Pac-12 teams together is academics. Well, if you stick to that mantra, you're going to get picked apart because guess what? Money talks. And guess what produces money? Football, not academics. And I'm not against academics, and I'm not saying academics should be secondary, not at all. I'm just giving you the facts. Money talks, and football creates the money. So you can stick with that academic thing is going to keep us together crap. It's not going to happen. Teams like USC, Oregon, Washington, the big money makers of the Pac-12 are going to get picked off because the Pac-12 isn't offering them more money. So if you do a Pac-12 Big 12 merger, you talk about a big contract, you'll have the whole West Coast locked down. Maybe not east of the Mississippi, but definitely west of the Mississippi. And that'll be worth a lot of money to ESPN. Half the country? Are you kidding me? Yes, that would be worth a truckload of money. So I actually like the Big 12, Pac-12 merger. And honestly, if Texas and Oklahoma stay, and they keep the 4 teams coming into the Big 12, West Virginia might stay in the Big 12 because that TV contract is going to go through the roof. So this will affect the future of West Virginia as well. A lot of futures at stake just because of Texas and Oklahoma. 2 teams controlling the destiny of a lot of teams. Talking about Nebraska, West Virginia, the Pac-12 teams, North Carolina, and Virginia schools. All those schools might be in the hands of Oklahoma and Texas. That's how strong of a pull those 2 teams have. And don't think the Big Ten is sitting back there and they're not going to make moves either. Can't forget about the Big Ten. They have big money as well. So the ACC could actually get picked apart by the SEC and the Big Ten. Maybe the SEC gets the bottom half and the Big Ten gets the upper half. I'm telling you, ACC fans, you need to watch out. This is the sign of the future right here. Now, I don't know where Notre Dame fits into all this because once we have these major conference realignments where we have mega conferences with members of 20 plus members, they're going to be left in the dust not making any money. Notre Dame will have to join a conference in the future. I don't know if it's within 5 years, 10 years, whatever, but eventually Notre Dame will be in a conference. So you Notre Dame fans that think you're better than everybody else, you're better than having to join any conference, the day will come whether it's do or die, whether you want to exist or go away, whether you want to make money or lose money, you will have to join a conference. I know you're relying on that big NBC contract, that's why you're staying independent. But once these mega conferences start popping up, you can say bye-bye to that because people aren't going to want to watch Notre Dame because nobody's going to schedule Notre Dame. So yeah, the time will come where Notre Dame will have to join a conference in the future. So one of these things will happen. Either Oklahoma and Texas do go to the SEC, but in the future the SEC goes to the ACC and try to get the North Carolina and Virginia schools, or just Texas backs out and Oklahoma goes to the SEC and they try to get one team now from Virginia or North Carolina. Texas tries to get Nebraska to come with them to the Big 12, or both teams, Oklahoma and Texas, go back to the Big 12, and now the SEC is mad and they go after the ACC immediately. And then of course the mergers, those will happen as well. A lot of stuff to unpack here. So y'all let me know in the comment section which actual direction do you think this will go. That's all I got for you for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on my next show.